pull off, speed up, go. That's how every day of my junior year started, as me and my friends would race back to school from my Monroe County CEO class. On this particular day, it was a cool November day in Illinois, absolutely beautiful. No, it's cold and miserable. But so me and my friend Jared, we're in Waterloo. This is town over, and we decide that we're gonna race back to school, as kids do, and we hop out onto Route 3 and speed up, doing about 85 and a 55 probably. Keep speeding up. We're speeding through cars, whatever. And we're going, and we're kind of getting neck and neck. And the reason I stay with Jared is because he has a radar detector in his car. So if the cops are coming and I see him slow down, I'm with him because I'm not trying to get pulled over, right? So we're going and probably pushing 90 at this point in a 55, and we're coming into the bend that goes into town where it changes from a 55 to a 45, right? And so I'm blasting some Little Peep as usual in my car, just having a good time. And all of a sudden I hear this little sound in the back that I haven't heard in this Peep song before. I was like, is that a sample? Like, what is that? I've never heard that before in this song. And so I'm thinking about it, and then I look in my rear view, and of course I see that red and blue flashing lights. And at this point Jared's gone, and so he's on me, and I'm like, oh man, what do I do? So I had some colorful language at that moment in time, and I was like, oh man. So I pull over, and I'm like, oh geez, what am I gonna do? So I turned on the radio, of course, rolled down my window. It's cold. I'm like, why today? And so the officer comes over, and he's like, you realize how fast you were going, son? And I'm like, sure, I don't know what to say. It's just it's a sad day, and I'm like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. I'm trying to be polite to this guy and trying to make it. And he books me down going 80 and a 55, which is actually pretty generous because I was probably doing around 90 at that point. So I kind of got blessed. Probably, maybe it was because of my politeness. I'm not exactly sure. But little did I know this encounter would actually have a much greater effect on my life than I had ever expected. And pretty much what happened was, so I go home that day because I'm wondering, I'm worried all day. I'm like, what am I going to tell my parents? They're gonna be mad at me, whatever. They're probably going to take away my car. And at this point, I had the money to pay off the ticket. I had that money. I was fine. I could pay it off. I figured, they're just going to take away my car for a while, and I'll be good to go. So I talked to my parents about this. They're quite upset, as I had known, has predicted, and they pretty much were like, they came up with a new punishment. They were like, Luke, you need to go get a job and work to pay this off. And I'm like, how am I going to do that? Because at this point in my life, I was, taking AP classes. I was trying to get into Stanford, which obviously I didn't. I was taking AP classes, which was taking up a lot of my time. I was rowing for 4 hours every night, which was taking up a lot of my time as well. And now they want me to get a job. How? Like, I don't have any time for this. And they were like, well, you don't get your car back until you get a job and you pay this off. So miraculously, I got a job in 2 days. Don't ask me how, I don't know, but I got a job in 2 days, and it fit my schedule. It made me stay up till 2 or 3 a.m. on school nights, working, bussing tables at a local reception hall. But I got the job, and I was there, and I was making money. I was making $8.25 an hour, minimum wage in Illinois, and I just began to think during this period. It was 4 months. And I was just bussing tables and, dealing with drunk people at weddings and, all that stuff, cleaning up puke, whatever. Some terrible stories there, but we save that for another time. And I just began to think. I was like, what skill sets do I have? How can I sell myself? Because, $8.25, it's fine. It's a wage, and you feel good about it. And you're like, okay, I'm making money, whatever. But I wanted to make more than $8.25, like a lot more than $8.25. And so I began to think. I was like, what skills do I have? And I began to think about cryptocurrency, something that I've been into since 2014. And I began to look at my friends in the space, like my friend Olaf. He runs Polychain Capital, which is a cryptocurrency hedge fund, and it was the first of its kind. And then swiftly after he started Polychain, Pantera Capital was started, and that is another cryptocurrency hedge fund. So I was like, I could do that. So I did, and I became the third cryptocurrency hedge fund to exist, off the chain capital. And I started to run it, and I'm at this point I'm 16, and I'm running this hedge fund. Like, I still don't understand how people gave me money at all, but they did. So pretty much, if you don't know how a hedge fund works, it's like I go out and I talk to rich people, and rich people give me money, and I make them more money. That's how you put it in the most simple terms. So I started to pitch these investors and these clients, and they, I got a lot of no's, of course, because I'm 16 and what do I know? And I'm just managing this out of my room on my computer. And then that first investor gave me a check for $50,000, and my mind was spinning. I was like, what the heck? Who trusts me with this? And so I took it immediately to the bank and invested it the next day. And slowly, that money began to grow, and I began to get more investors. And next thing I knew, I was managing around $12 million of other people's money in about 6 months. And that first investor, actually, he called me back in one day, and he actually gave me more money because he was very impressed. And it was crazy. It was crazy because I was young, I was successful, I was speaking at conferences, I was doing all these things. But at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. I didn't like it. Making money for rich people isn't that fun. Even when you're making money yourself, it's just still, it doesn't feel good. So I decided to stop. I kicked everyone out, and I said, no more of this. And and I recently actually just sold the company to another buyer. And it felt like a great weight off my chest, because I'm interested in like fashion and music and things like that, and I'm not interested in managing money for people. And it just goes to show, that even when, the going is good and, I was successful, I was, doing everything I could, and I was really, really good at it. Even when the going is good, you still can pull off, speed up, and go get what you really are truly after.
Because I press and he pressed, and we don't press at the